Hi there, good evening. Hope you had a great Sunday. And now it's time to look forward to the coming week and the stories that are shaping up. Welcome back to this week's edition of Looking Forward. This show is about stories that are shaping up over the coming days and weeks, news that is developing and will have consequences for your life and mine, and impact our lives, impact our choices. Stories that shape India's and world's politics and economics going forward. So let's get going. Tomorrow is a big day for each one of us as proud citizens of India, of the Republic. On Republic Day, we renew our resolve and pledge to abide by the Constitution, which we gave to ourselves, even as our armed forces showcase their might for the world to watch and watch out for. This year, it's a special as we are going to see the war machine with Operation Sindoor overhang. We get you up close in story number 1. Coming Sunday, yes, it's a working Sunday, as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presents her 9th budget. Would she go all of 9 yards, both literally and figuratively, as Indian economy rides good numbers? Would there be tax and job fixes or a new deal boosting the next decade? That's our story number 2. Then there's a big diplomatic event in New Delhi. The Arab League foreign ministers, all of 20 plus, are trooping down for India-Arab Summit. All of them from Islamic nations. Underscores the Modi government's big West Asia push over the years. We get you the details. And finally, story number 4 on something that can lead to wars and tariff wars. Our energy security. We show you how Bharat is securing the energy future for its citizens with a major diplomatic push this very week. Let's begin with the headlines as always. Centre announces the Padma Awards for 2026, celebrating the unsung heroes. Among the Padma Vibhushan awardees are veteran actor Dharmendra and former Kerala Chief Minister V.S. Achyutanandan. Other recipients include classical violinist N. Rajan, former Supreme Court Judge K.T. Thomas. For the year 2026, President Draupadi Murmu has approved the conferment of 131 Padma Awards, including 2 duo cases, Rohit Sharma, Harmanpreet Kaur, to be conferred with Padma Shri Awards. Astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla to be honored with Ashok Chakra, India's highest peacetime military honor. Apart from Shukla, Group Captain P.B. Nair, one of the 4 designated astronauts for the Gaganyaan mission, has been awarded the Kirti Chakra. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen arrives in New Delhi as the chief guest for India's 77th Republic Day. She will join European Council President Antonio Costa at the celebrations and represent the EU at the 16th EU-India Summit that's slated for day after tomorrow. Veteran journalist Mark Tully, a chronicler of India and an acclaimed author, breathed his last at a private hospital. Today he was 90 years old. The award-winning journalist was ailing for some time. And TVK chief Vijay drops a big hint to go solo in Tamil Nadu elections. Vijay said his party can challenge established powers in Tamil Nadu and that the party has the right attitude to take on the evil force that is ruling the state currently. All right, friends, let's begin this edition of Looking Forward. This Republic Day, India transcends mere ceremonial observance of its constitution to project a clear and resolute strategic intent onto the global stage. The 2026 Republic Day Parade at Kartavya Path marks a bold departure from tradition, blending historical reverence honoring 150 years of Vande Mataram with a forward-looking display of combat evolution. Legacy elements like mounted cavalry and storied battle formations share this stage with cutting-edge innovations. Unmanned ground vehicles, robotic docks, swarm drones, autonomous systems, and next-generation firepower such as the Divyastra integrated gun drone loitering munition platforms and Shaktiban storm drone capabilities. Far beyond pageantry, the parade broadcasts deterrence and readiness, signaling to the world that India's military future is networked, as also, of course, sending across a very reassuring message to the citizens of the country. Here's what you can look forward to in tomorrow's Republic Day parade and the celebrations.
As the countdown to Republic Day begins, Kartavya Path is transforming into a theatre of modern warfare, where tradition marches alongside technology.
The marching contingent comprises 4 officers.
Mounted cavalry, a symbol of legacy, now integrated into a battlefield shaped by surveillance drones and mechanized firepower. For the first time, the Remount Veterinary Corps brings a powerful message. Adaptation is survival.
This time the Remount Veterinary Corps contingent is very uniquely curated. We are having 2 Bactrian camels from Ladakh, 4 Zanskari ponies, 4 raptors, and then we have army dogs that are taking part in the contingent. Amongst the army dogs, we are using 5 types of indigenous breed. The birds have natural capabilities and that enhances the operational effectiveness. And presently we are training these black kites for anti-drone operations and surveillance purpose. You can also observe that there is a camera mounted on their head, which helps us in surveillance. So that is how their training is being done for these 2 main operational roles. These animals are highly adaptable and they can work at an altitude of more than 15,000 feet in cold, thin air and steepy terrains. So they are highly, they have a very good endurance and they can be utilized for different purposes such as logistical support and mounted patrolling in cold desert areas of borders.
From animals trained for surveillance and anti-drone warfare, India's military ecology is expanding. The battlefield of tomorrow is unforgiving, especially at extreme conditions.
Scouts is basically based on the concept of sons of the soil, where recruitment is done from the local area, because the local troops are well versed with the area and with the weather conditions as well. Scouts is majorly deployed in high altitude and they have exceptional mountaineering skills, whether it be navigating through vertical rock faces, and they have a high endurance in such high altitude areas as well. We are trained for such conditions and we have done training to operate in such high altitude areas. So this is a part of job and we are very much proficient in what we do. We are showcasing this specialized clothing. This is called extreme cold weather clothing system. This is also called a 3-layer suit, in which the innermost layer is all black, the middle layer is green, and the outer, as you can see, is all white. This is very lightweight and breathable also. This is windproof and waterproof as well.
The The soldier is now lighter, faster, deadlier, equipped for icy frontiers and real-time combat.
Led by Captain Arun of Pakistan, regiment Sweden Valor and Harry Gopal.
Armor, air defense, and missile shields led deterrence forms the backbone of India's land dominance. For the first time, the world's only active horse-mounted cavalry regiment steps out in full combat gear.
Since the theme of the parade, we have to showcase the battle array formation and cavalry, which has an operational role of surveillance in cross-country terrain where vehicles cannot enter, and it is difficult for the soldier on foot to travel for long-range patrols. That's where horses are used, and we are showcasing our combat role in the parade. In places where even drones can't enter terrain like dense jungle, you need horses for long-range patrolling. Apart from that, the training of the army officers and the officers of any defense of the armed forces, it is a very important part to keep horse riding for the development of leadership skills. It teaches offensive spirit and risk-taking ability. We are carrying AK-203, which is a standard issue weapon of the Indian Army.
Legacy units, modernized for modern wars. Unmanned ground systems now take over the most dangerous last stretch of the battlefield.
As part of infantry contingent, we are showcasing unmanned ground vehicle. This is the first time we are showcasing on Republic Day parade, and under Atmanirbhar Bharat, we are inducting these vehicles into army. So it is a high payload 4x4 vehicle, which is designed for surveillance, medicine supply, and logistics support across across cross country. The main features of this equipment is the advanced autonomy and self capability. It can navigate through difficult terrains on its own, and it can independently choose its routes. The four vehicles which we are showcasing first time this time are: one is Bhairav, other one is Bhuvi Rakshak, one is Nigrah, and other one is Krishna. So these are the four vehicles which we are showcasing. There are various means by which we can use these vehicles. Like for surveillance we can use it, and the basic use of these vehicles in infantry, if I can tell you, is the last 100 to 200 meters of battle which infantry earlier used to do with its bayonets and rifles, where the casualty of infantry soldiers was quite high. So to reduce that, to fight that last 100 meters of battle, we are inducting these vehicles. We can mount mission-oriented payloads, mission-oriented weapons on these vehicles, so that we can neutralize the enemy in close combat battle.
Atmanirbhar Bharat is no longer a slogan. It is rolling, tracking, and striking. Even legacy artillery evolves. The future, however, belongs to the eyes in the sky.
Well, as the recent global conflicts have demonstrated, drones have become vital components of multi-domain warfare and help us achieve operational success in the modern battlefield. So, Project Drone Shakti, it symbolizes the Indian Army's integrated framework for the sustenance and development of drones in the forward areas itself. And as far as the drones are concerned, it will deal with all types of drones, be it surveillance drones, logistic drones, and also the kamikaze drones. There will also be precision strike advanced armed drones which are on display on our vehicle, and these are all flagship indigenous drones which have been developed in-house by the core of EME to cater to India's specific operational demands. The indigenous flagship drones, namely leading the fleet, is Khadga Chakra. It is an IC engine powered drone which has unmatched long range reconnaissance and surveillance capability. It is also a true symbol of Atmanirbharta since it has been developed in-house. Along with it are the advanced armed drones Baz, Sudarshan, and Navastra 81. These are all precision strike drones which highlight India's growing precision striking potential. Along with it is also a kamikaze drone, Shakti.
From logistics to lethal strikes, drones now dominate multi-domain warfare. Missile power defines strategic messaging. From Pinaka's long-range saturation strikes to BrahMos, the world's fastest cruising missiles, India asserts unmatched deterrence. Anti-tank warfare remains a battlefield decider.
Nag missile system is developed by DRDO, and this time we have got the Nag missile Mark II. And this time we have got 4 launchers along with 30 gun and 7.62 PKT.
Sir, this is being mounted on a Soviet-era BMP. Do you believe that this is the right platform for the same?
It is good. It is a good platform. We have seen in different terrains. It operates very well.
And with the experience of operating BMP for a very long time, there is a degree of comfort as well, I believe. Sir, the Nag platform is an anti-tank missile with terminal diving capabilities. So, how is it that this is being featured against a Javelin or a man-portable device? How is it different?
Basically, for Nag missile, we are developing it, and we have got the Russian Russian ICV. So, if we compare it with the other Javelin and other anti-tank missiles, we are capable enough to make our own missiles and do operate them.
Air defense proven, tested, lethal. Akash, battle tested during Operation Sindoor, stands as a shield in the sky. Experts say this parade is also a geopolitical message.
Traditionally, countries like Russia, China, North Korea, etc. have used their annual day military parades to showcase their military power and strength, to roll out their latest current cutting-edge military equipment like, their latest rockets, missiles, anti-tank guns, their fleet of tanks and BMPs, etc. As the focus has largely been on showcasing their intercontinental ballistic missiles, their hypersonic missiles, their cruise missiles, etc. This was the practice in India too, in our Republic Day parades. But unfortunately, over the years, we found a school of thought which curtailed, the military component of our parade to almost a token. And there was every year an increasing number of cultural pageants and shows, so that more than half the parade is now consists of cultural pageants and cultural dances, etc. So the military component of the parade had been reduced over the years, which was rather sad, because even when we saw the foreign dignitaries, they showed much more interest in the military parades than the cultural dance, pageantry and the rest of it. I'm very happy to note that this year the focus is on showcasing the weapons, the missiles, the cutting edge technologies with the help of which we won such a spectacular victory in the Operation Sindoor 1.0.
Global fault lines are shifting, and India is watching, prepared.
Last year, I remember for the Raisina dialogue, 22 EU commissioners traveled to India for the first time ever, the largest ever delegation of EU commissioners going to a country. And then, of course, the German fellow has just been here, the French guy is going to come. All of them are looking for the Indian market, but they have nothing else left for them. May I end by saying that I recall this was probably in the 80s when I was dealing with West Europe. We used to have these meetings, 6-monthly meeting, where there would be a European chap European country that was the head of the European Union for 6 months. It used to rotate every 6 months, and we would have to meet them. And our minister would travel, and they would give us the meeting on the last day whichever country was chairing it, on the last day of their presidency and give us 10 minutes and say, get lost. So this is the kind of arrogance that we have seen, but now it has changed. May I just say, we are willing to let bygones be bygones, but respect India's national interest just as we respect you. And if you wish to mess around with me, I'm more than willing to take you on head on. So they are coming here. They wanted to come. We've invited them. We don't have this kind of foreign policy where we are childish, we are churlish, we are petty. All right? Prime Minister has been invited to visit Italy, and the IMEC corridor is being discussed, etc. You know, somewhere deep inside me, there's a feeling that we should thank Donald Trump for doing what he has done. He has cut Europe to size and showed Europe its true position.
Republic Parade 2026 is not about pageantry alone. It would be about preparedness in an uncertain world. And the first Republic Parade since Operation Sindoor. The unmissable declaration of readiness on 26th of January 2026. A nation secure in its strength, confident in its capability, prepared for every challenge ahead. This is India marching into the future.
India's Union Budget 26-27 will be presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on February 1. Her ninth consecutive one follows the economic survey on January 29. Amid escalating US tariff wars under the Trump administration imposing up to 50% duties impacting exports like textiles, pharmaceuticals and electronics, the budget would need to focus on countering global headwinds through manufacturing shifts, sustained high capex, and a massive push to AI. With GDP growth projections for FY 25-26 ranging from 6.5 to 7% to higher estimates like the Deloitte's at 7.5 to 7.8, alongside controlled inflation and a fiscal deficit target of 4.4%, expectations include AI mission expansion, digital infrastructure, EV and semiconductor incentives, tax relief for the middle class. Here's what to expect from the budget.
India's Union Budget 2026 set to be presented on February 1st by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, her ninth consecutive budget. This comes right after the economic survey on January 31st, which will lay the groundwork for fiscal strategies amid global uncertainties.
The government has reduced and rationalized tax rates. Under the new tax scheme, there is now no tax liability for taxpayers with income up to 7 lakh rupees, up from 2.2 lakh rupees in the financial year 2013-14. The threshold for presumptive taxation for retail businesses was increased from 2 crores to 3 crores. Similarly, the threshold for professionals eligible for presumptive taxation was increased from 50 lakh rupees to 75 lakh rupees. Also, corporate tax rate was decreased from 30% to 22% for existing domestic companies and to 15% for certain new manufacturing companies. The leadership of Prime Minister Modi has always believed in the admirable energy and ability of the middle class in nation building. In recognition of their contribution, we have periodically reduced their tax burden. Right after 2014, the nil tax slab was raised to 2.5 lakhs of rupees, which was further raised to 5 lakh rupees in 2019 and to 7 lakh rupees in 2023. This is reflective of our government's trust on the middle class taxpayers. I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees.
with themes ranging from countering tariff wars to boosting AI. This budget could supercharge India's path to becoming a global economic powerhouse.
Than the government's 7.4% estimate. I think growth is likely to be closer to 8.5%, and eventually it'll be revised up to closer to 9%. So the economy is growing rapidly. You don't need much more of a fiscal stimulus, but I think that the global backdrop provides an opportunity, I think, for India to tweak its tax code to make it more attractive for NRIs to return. There is a large number of non-resident Indians who are facing difficulties with their visas in places like the United States and many parts of Europe. So I think we should try to attract them back. And one way to do that is to make returning to India more attractive and less cumbersome from a tax standpoint. So I think there'll be some tweaks to the tax code. Second is that we need to see some reforms of the import tariff regime to basically remove the remaining areas of inversion of tax rates and a general, at least a modest reduction in overall customs duty rates. Those are the sorts of things that are likely. The broad thrust will remain the same. We'll continue to see strong public investment by the government and more incentives for private investment to pick up. I think the labor market reforms have been very significant. At the end of November, we will probably see more measures to provide incentives for large-scale manufacturing of textiles, garments, shoes, toys, etc. The PLI schemes will probably be expanded to include more labor-intensive areas. And I think that we are probably going to see at least a modest pickup in privatization, particularly some of the long pending ones, such as IDBI, will now be done. There's a strategic sale of IDBI that has been on the anvil for nearly 5 years. It is time for that to now be completed. And there'll be other transactions, I think, not of the sort of crown jewels, but some of the peripheral government-owned banks and industrial firms can now be privatized, not just disinvested.
The real GDP is projected to grow at 7.4% for financial year 2025 to 2026, up from 6.5% the previous year, a robust rebound signaling strong domestic demand. Inflation remains under control, with the RBI revising forecast upward to support growth. However, the fiscal deficit is targeted at 4.4% of GDP, down from 4.9% in financial year 2024 to 2025. This reflecting disciplined spending amid global headwinds. Experts anticipate continued capital expenditure push, with allocations potentially exceeding last year's levels to fuel infrastructure and manufacturing. Sectors like railways and education are eyeing boost, with calls for reforms in skilling and digital infrastructure. Here's what the analysts are expecting.
This budget is coming at a critical time because the economy appears to be growing fast. But the fact of the matter is that no one really believes these very high numbers. And these numbers are not believable because clearly the deflator is quite clearly wrong, because it can't be that the nominal growth rate is 8.7% in the last quarter and the real growth rate is 8.2%, because the deflator can't be just 0.5% difference, when we know perfectly well that the inflation rate is much higher than that. So these numbers are not really believable, and there are other reasons why these numbers are not believable. So firstly, it's absolutely critical that the focus has to be on the real sectors of the economy, not to give some sops to improve the situation in the capital market, because the capital market is doing pretty well and there's no particular reason to give sops in for the capital markets. What needs to happen is focus has to be on manufacturing, because manufacturing has been stagnating. If anything, as a share of GDP, it has been actually coming down. And even as a share of gross value added, manufacturing is either stagnating or it has fallen.
This budget aims to balance fiscal prudence with growth, targeting a debt reduction trajectory. One of the biggest challenges for Budget 2026 is the escalating tariff wars, particularly with the United States imposing up to 50% tariffs under the new administration. This has already led to a 1.83% drop in India's merchandise exports to the United States, impacting sectors like textiles, pharmaceuticals, and electronics.
Anticipated budget in the third term of the NDA government. The 3 or 4 most important things that people are going to expect. One is reform on the real estate and affordable housing. That has to be done a little more. 2, is there going to be any leeway given on the long-term capital gain tax as far as the equity market is concerned? Because if you look at the equity markets last 15 months, they've been pretty flat, and obviously the stock market investors are going to look at some sort of benefit, but it's quite highly unlikely that any relief is going to be given for the stock market. But what's important are 2 numbers. The fiscal deficit and the projection of GDP is going to be very, very important, and fiscal deficit is very, very key, because that will give India the long-term rating and also help in raising funds for India in the long term and make India as an attractive destination. Having said that, the world is shifting and moving towards AI. So are there going to be any SOPs announced for AI and startups related to AI? That will be the key lookout, because as far as the AI is concerned, we don't have the base platform, we don't have the LLMs, but it's a great ecosystem where India can function on AI. So housing, personal taxation, you look at a couple of things that will be very interesting. One will be coupled tax that's expected, where there will be an exemption given for joint tax exemption for both the husband and wife put together. The fine prints, if it comes through, will be very interesting to look out. Affordable living, that's a great thing, and the real estate sector needs some boost on that. Third, the long-term capital gain tax for the stock market and equity will be important. In terms of AI, there will be a keen lookout, and obviously some sunrise sectors which will look at some exemptions and SOPs for growth. But overall, if Indian economy has to clock 8 to 10%, you need a lot of stimulus. And remember, if we have to become Viksit Bharat by 2047, it's very, very critical that we grow at 8% plus. Yes, the headline inflation has been under control for a long time. That's good. But the earnings have not kept up to the mark. It's sort of tepid, and the market is really, really struggling to move upward. It's sideways for over 14-15 months. So the budget could be one trigger that could move the market.
And here is what the people of India are expecting on the 1st of February.
I think petrol prices are going down globally, so that needs to be reduced.
Yeah, they don't come down here. In fact, this same thing, same product, what we buy, after say about a month or 2, the prices are increased. It may be very marginally increased, but yes. So I sometimes wonder, like I'm talking about the home products, the groceries, they are increasing at a very consistent level, and they increase by 2 rupees, 3 rupees. Obviously, you don't realize that. but they are increasing and it never comes down in India, I see.
It is a Nari Shakti budget, 10th budget of Madam Nirmala Sitharaman. It's an answer to 2026 Union budget will be answer to TTT, Trump tariff terrorism. There are 77 new ideas have been incorporated. That's what I learned. Like Makana board for Bihar, which got BJP a thumping seats in Bihar. Similarly, something for Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Nirmala Sitharaman is going to propose lot of innovative projects for Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal. First budget from Seva Tirth, Kartavya Bhavan, not from colonial North Block. My feeling is Nirmala Sitharaman had 6 rounds of meetings with Prime Minister. It will have a Prime Minister's approval. It's going to be a political reform budget. Mr. Donald Trump is creating a terrorism. This budget will give a reply to that terrorism type of things. India does not agree to this type of terrorist approach. 2026 budget will be development oriented one, which will help the states, and moreover cooperative federalism. Mr. Narendra Modi's Team India spirit will be in this budget. It will answer lot of questions raised by the opposition on tax reforms, especially on GST, personal tax, corporate tax. Is going to be a reformist budget.
On the flip side, Budget 2026 is poised to accelerate India's AI ambitions. With global AI markets booming, expectations include allocations for AI skilling, programs, national centers of excellence, and infrastructure like data centers. Sectors like health and agriculture could see AI integrations for precision farming and telemedicine, potentially adding billions to GDP. And this is what the Congress is expecting.
For last 11 years, we have been observing that budget is always in favor of corporate houses, rich people. Budget doesn't care for the poor people of the country. Earlier, when our Prime Minister was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, he used to say that education funding should be given for the education, for health sector, for the farmers, but it is altogether a different budget. We expect and we hope and we request our government that a budget should take care of education sector, agriculture, farmers of the country, health, and one thing which is very important, as far as income tax is concerned, different kinds of slabs are there. Confusion is there. It should be very, very simple.
Beyond tariffs and AI, look for boost in EV mobility, semiconductors, and real estate. Tax relief on home loans and medical insurance premiums could stimulate consumption, while import duty cuts target affordability in key goods. Investors hope for tweaks to long-term capital gains, that is the LTCG, tax to encourage market participation. In summary, Budget 2026 under Nirmala Sitharaman could ace India's future by shielding against tariff wars through manufacturing shifts and propelling growth via AI innovations. With strong GDP projections and fiscal discipline, this budget sets a stage for a Viksit Bharat. From tariff defense to AI offense, Budget 2026 could set up India for the next growth decade.
Moving to the next one, a key moment in India's global diplomacy is set to unfold in the national capital. New Delhi is preparing to host the second India-Arab Foreign Ministers Meet, a high-level diplomatic engagement that brings together leaders from across the Arab world under one forum. The two-day summit, scheduled for January 30 and 31, comes at a time of shifting geopolitics in West Asia and reflects India's growing strategic, economic and political engagement with Arab nations. With foreign ministers from over 20 Arab League countries expected to attend, the focus will be on energy security, trade, investment and regional stability. Here's a closer look at what's at stake as India prepares to host this crucial diplomatic dialogue.
In the heart of the national capital, New Delhi prepares for a key moment in global diplomacy. India is set to host the second India-Arab Foreign Ministers meeting, a high-level summit bringing the Arab world to the diplomatic table in New Delhi. The two-day meeting will take place on January 30th and 31st, 2026, under the framework of the Arab-India Cooperation Forum. A score and more foreign ministers from the Arab League nations are expected to attend, representing countries across West Asia and North Africa. From the Gulf to North Africa, the gathering reflects the breadth of India's engagement with the Arab world. The Arab League, established in 1945, comprises 22 member states and serves as a key regional organization coordinating political and diplomatic positions among Arab countries. India's institutional engagement with the Arab League began in 2007, when both sides agreed to establish the Arab-India Cooperation Forum to strengthen political dialogue and economic cooperation. This is only the second such ministerial level meeting between India and the Arab League, the first held nearly a decade ago in 2016. Since then, India's ties with Arab nations have deepened through strategic partnerships, expanding trade, and sustained political dialogue.
We are signing a comprehensive trade agreement with the European Union. We have one with ASEAN. We have many similar agreements. We have an EFTA and so on. Perhaps we would even be talking about one with the Arab League as a whole. And if that happens, that would certainly be a groundbreaking decision that we take. So, we welcome our Arab friends. We say marhaba. Come as equals, come as friends. You want security in your region. You don't trust the Russians or the Chinese. The British have run away. In any case, they don't have the strength. The Americans are unpredictable. That leaves Bharat, India, as a net security provider. So if you want, come to us. We won't let you down. That's not our system.
India today maintains strategic partnerships with countries including the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Oman, and Qatar, covering defense cooperation, trade, energy, and investment. Just days before the summit, President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, made an official visit to India on January 19th. It marked his third official visit as UAE President and his fifth overall visit to India in the past decade, reflecting close and sustained engagement between the two countries. During the visit, the leaders reviewed the comprehensive strategic partnership and reaffirmed cooperation across trade, energy, defense, investment, and technology. This includes plans to double bilateral trade to $200 billion by 2032 and deepen joint cooperation frameworks.
First of all, a letter of intent was signed between the two sides to work towards concluding a framework agreement for a strategic defense partnership between India and the UAE. A letter of intent was also signed between the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center in Space and the UAE Space Agency for a joint initiative for space infrastructure development and its commercialization Under this particular initiative, we will look to setting up new launch complexes, satellite fabrication facilities, joint missions, space academy, and training centers. A letter of intent was signed on the UAE's participation in the development of special investment region in Dholera in Gujarat. This is a mega partnership initiative that will look at the establishment of an international airport, a pilot training school, an MRO facility, a greenfield port, a smart urban township, as well as projects related to railway connectivity and energy infrastructure.
The Arab world remains central to India's economic engagement. Arab countries account for a significant share of India's crude oil and natural gas imports, making energy security a key pillar of the relationship. Trade between India and Arab nations runs into hundreds of billions of dollars annually, with growing cooperation in infrastructure, manufacturing, technology, and logistics. Millions of Indians live and work across Arab countries, making people-to-people ties a vital pillar of this relationship. Discussions at the summit are expected to focus on economic engagement, energy security, investment partnerships, and regional cooperation. Officials say that the dialogue will aim to strengthen coordination across sectors that links India and the Arab world more closely than ever before.
See, in perspective of foreign relations with respect to India, the countries of the Arab League are extremely important to us, neighbors to us, and in some senses also old civilizational links with these countries. One. Secondly, in these countries, we have approximately 10 million of Indian diaspora. 10 million is about 1 crore people living of Indian origin, and most of them are living and working there as on temporary or work visas. It's not that they're residents, because most of these countries don't allow residences. So these are all Indians who are working in these countries, over almost 1 crore. These 1 crore Indians are sending to India back almost about $40 to $45 billion every year. That's a big chunk of money. Our global diaspora sends back to India something around $140 billion, 130 billion. About 45 billion odd comes from these countries due to our Indian brothers and sisters working there and sending money back home. So this $45 billion is an extremely important chunk of change, one would say, right? So that's one bedrock of our relationships, which we want to remain stable and calm and keep growing.
The summit also comes amid a rapidly shifting geopolitical landscape in West Asia. Ongoing regional tensions, including the situation in Gaza and broader security concerns from the backdrop to the diplomatic engagement. While no formal agenda has been made public, regional stability and peace efforts are expected to feature in the discussions. There is also diplomatic attention on possible participation of Syria, which, if confirmed, would mark a significant moment following recent political developments there. As delegations prepare to arrive, the focus shifts on what the coming days may deliver. In a world shaped by uncertainty, the India-Arab Foreign Ministers Summit places dialogue at the center, with New Delhi ready to host the key conversation.
And the last one, from Venezuela kidnapped to Alaska summit to the Nord Stream blow-up and closer home tariffs for purchasing Russian oil. To paraphrase Shakespeare, all the world's is an energy security grid. Or what's in an oil rig? If a nation has energy, it has future. If a nation has oil but no nuclear bombs, it has an American raid. That's the significance of energy security, folks. Keeping this in mind, India is making a big push this week to diversify its energy sourcing. It's both geo-economic and geopolitical, as India hosts 30-plus nations and 17 energy ministers to beef up or tank up on the energy multiverse through the Energy India Week 2026 edition. Have a look.
It's going to be the mother of all energy summits for the India. 17 energy ministers, 30 plus nations, 75,000 plus participants are going to be there at India Energy Week 2026 edition. India is diversifying its energy mix.
The Indian Energy Week obviously has become one of the most important global platforms for shaping the future of energy. It is significant because it brings policymakers, technology, capital, and industry leaders across one stage to discuss real changes and solutions with over 75,000 delegates, global ministers, and hundreds of exhibitors. It is a strategic marketplace of ideas and investment. It encourages investment, it brings a whole lot of ideas, and it reflects India's transition from being a consumer of energy solutions to a creator of scalable, sustainable, and affordable energy models for the world.
The India Energy Week is going to be a statement of India's strategic autonomy in energy space.
As I said, 9th round table of the Prime Minister, which will have large number of foreign CEOs, Indian private sector CEOs, and Indian public sector people also. Then there's an India-Arab energy dialogue, which will be which I will co-chair in Goa. We have confirmed participation from some of the big players in the Arab world. 2 major shipbuilding contracts between joint venture ship owners and shipbuilders, between ONGC and JV as joint venture ship owners, and Mitsui OSK Line and Samsung Heavy Industries South Korea. These are for large crude carriers or even ethane. These are for ethane carriers.
It is going to place India strongly as a big power player in the global energy market.
The India Energy Week firmly positions India as a global energy leader, not just of a fast-growing market. It shows India is shaping the agenda of a clean mobility, hydrogen, biofuels, digitalization, and net zero pathways. Global energy trends, but it's also influencing them, offering solutions that are practical, that are affordable, and scalable for both emerging and developed economies. India is on the way to be the 3rd largest economy in the world, and this is all helping us to make a better, cleaner, greener India, and India Energy Week is leading just like Davos in Switzerland.
IEW 2026 will be structured around 10 strategic themes reflecting global priorities and India's evolving leadership role.
And its focus on both traditional and emerging energy areas. It's actually a testimony to India's ability to attract massive international participation. As we have discussed, more than 75,000 delegates from 60 plus countries are going to be participating this week. So of course, it is a great investment because you have significant participation from Gulf countries, from Southeast Asian countries. So it does reflect India's strategic autonomy. Clearly, the diverse lineup of 17 ministers and deputy prime minister level of participants from different Western countries, Gulf countries, OPEC countries, of course, and Southeast Asian countries, from Africa. So it does shows India's multi-alignment in this emerging multipolar world order.
And then the elephant in the room, the Russia question.
We put 25% tariffs on India for buying Russian oil, and the Indian purchases by their refineries of Russian oil have collapsed. So that is a success.
Is this how India sees the development?
Diversification is the need. You have seen India's acquisition is from 40 plus different countries, mostly Gulf states and in West Asia. So we should see that in this lens. And bottom line always remains that India's autonomy lies in its multilateral frameworks. India's autonomy is is by balancing different sides and not showing extra commitment to one. I think the energy week is going to be a big part of that India's overall diplomatic approach.
Yet another move in the direction of India's strategic autonomy panning out this coming week.
All right, friends, this is all we could bring to you in this edition of Looking Forward. We are back next Sunday with more to look for in what's happening in India and around the world over the next week. But join me tomorrow at 8 a.m. as India's might rolls on the Kartavya path with Republic Day celebrations. Thanks for watching.